Today's breaking news edition of the Dallas Cowboys Report is presented by Aura, the all-in-one digital safety tool helping keep you and your families, their information, personal and financial, safe online from hackers and that info off the dark web. Get a free 14-day trial over at aura.com/chatsports. The breaking news of the day, the biggest free agency signing by the Cowboys all year by a massive margin. Anthony Barr has joined the Dallas Cowboys organization. 1-year deal is all we know as we film this. The money's still left to be sorted out. But if you are hyped about the Cowboys finally doing something and signing a notable free agent the vast majority of us have actually heard of, show it by liking this video right now if you are hyped the Cowboys and Catboy finally did something. The only details we know on the Anthony Barr signing is that it is a 1-year deal. Barr is a bit of a hybrid linebacker to an extent. My expectation is he continues, as he's done the entire time in his NFL career, to play an off-ball linebacker role. The Cowboys have had a pretty good success rate in recent years, bringing on former Vikings players. Looking at you, Jaron Kearse. Now Anthony Barr joins the ranks as I think George Edwards, the defensive assistant for this Cowboys staff, also playing probably a somewhat significant role in terms of the situation from that standpoint. Now, Barr can play off-ball and on-ball in terms of that edge rusher, but you have Micah Parsons on this roster. I would assume you're going to play Anthony Barr a lot more at the off-ball linebacker position. He is getting up there in age. He's not what he was in his prime. The contract will reflect that. After all, Barr was once one of the highest-paid linebackers in the entire NFL. But at minimum, I think we all feel a lot better about the linebacker depth for this team. You had Leighton Vander Esch. I know, and we'll get more in depth on this, we were excited about one Jabril Cox. Hashtag Cox out in the comments section. But beyond those two, you had zero proven talent or ability, and you were banking on a bunch of UDFAs, guys you signed off the streets, and a late-round draft pick. You needed linebacker depth this entire offseason, and now you've got some great depth in Anthony Barr. So we'll go more in depth, of course, on today's show, but grade the signing for me. A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know in the comments section how you feel about the signing of Anthony Barr. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show. So if the ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. A, B, C, D, or F. Now, the area that I am most interested in, not concerned about, but curious about, is Anthony Barr's coverage abilities. He was not necessarily a great elite coverage player for the majority of his NFL career, but he did have a bit of a breakout year in terms of interceptions and pass breakups. It's a little high on the completion percentage. And remember, when we are in August, there is a reason why players are available in free agency. In Barr's case, there were some medical stuff that teams were at least a little bit worried about. He also had a very high asking price. He wanted $11 million per year. As we sit here filming this live on the Cowboys Report, we do not have the contract details. I would be shocked if it came close to 11. Frankly, I'd be a bit surprised if it was even half of that figure. So for now, I'm actually going to list Anthony Barr as linebacker 3 for this team. Because remember, Leighton Vander Esch has been the one calling in the defensive plays along with Jaron Kearse. They were the one wearing the helmets at today's walkthrough. They are your defensive single callers. And even though Leighton Vander Esch played really well last season, I did not want to just have LVE and Jabril Cox on this team. Barr at minimum is an awesome number 3 linebacker. And if it's Barr at 2, LVE at 3, cool. That works just the same for me. You can still rotate in Jabril Cox. I think you'll see the Cowboys rotate in linebackers. You feel a lot better with it being in some order LVE, Barr, and Cox than it was LVE and Cox with Parsons playing that hybrid role. Folks, this is exactly why you guys subscribe and have those notifications set to all on YouTube, because when news happens here on the Cowboys Report, we break it down immediately. So if you haven't already, hit that big red button and subscribe. Free daily videos every single day, sometimes multiple times per day, right here on the Cowboys Report. I mentioned the injury stuff for Anthony Barr. That, at this point, of course, has been cleared and vetted by the Cowboys organization, but this was part of it. He has missed a lot of time in the past couple of years. The knee, in particular, was a bit of a red flag, at least for some teams, coupled with the asking price. But on a one-year deal, you're not nearly as worried about the injury stuff because it's only a one-year deal. You're not investing a crazy high amount of money into Anthony Barr, I would assume. You're not committing to him multiple years as a key player. And there is familiarity already with the coaching staff. Anthony Barr, with the Cowboys, knows George Edwards very, very well. Those two, I mean, Edwards was Barr's DC with the Minnesota Vikings. Like, it was not a situation where they had to throw a bunch of money at him or anything or along those lines. This was a fit. It's a logical selection, I believe, for Anthony Barr and the Cowboys. The George Edwards connection makes sense. I'll make note, by the way, the Denver Broncos were also in play there. There's a connection there, too. General Manager George Payton is the Broncos GM, former Vikings assistant GM. Now he comes to Dallas instead. We had known for a while that Anthony Barr was going to be a strong fit potentially in Dallas. We've known for weeks and months now that there was interest. The money hadn't been worked out yet. Now, clearly, it has been. Now, speaking of money, keep your financial information safe with our friends over at Aura. They offer financial fraud protection, identity theft protection, online and device security for you and up to five members of your family. If you are like most people, you shop, bank, and work online more safely or more than ever. So do it more safely and privately with our friends over at Aura. They're giving you a free 14-day trial. Cancel at any time of their all-in-one online safety tool. Aura.com/chatsports. That link is in the comments section, and it's in the description of today's show. Now, there was already a corresponding roster move made to make room for this particular signing. Aaron Hansford, the Texas A&M undrafted free agent who I like quite a bit. I was a bit surprised he passed his physical and then was waived by the Dallas Cowboys. That is significant from that standpoint there. I was intrigued that they cut him, but I'm okay with it because you've signed Anthony Barr instead. So Hansford's time over with the Dallas Cowboys before it even really got going as they sign Anthony Barr and waive Hansford in part to make room for the signing of Barr. Let's talk now about maybe the one player negatively impacted potentially by this. That is Jabril Cox. Van Der Esch is the more proven linebacker. I am not out on Jabril Cox, by the way. We can spam hashtag Cox out if we want to in the comments section. But he goes back to being a upside piece that you're not banking on in the same way you were before you added Anthony Barr. Micah Parsons will play that hybrid linebacker role. Thank God. I'd be mad if he didn't. Leighton Van Der Esch is going to play a key role for you. In theory, Anthony Barr will as well. And there's still room for Jabril Cox, by the way. And you can bring him on a little bit slower from that standpoint. You don't have to rush him into duty when he's coming off the ACL tear. His knee got dinged up on Tuesday's practice as we broke down on yesterday's show. You have a good top four linebacker. And most importantly, you're in this position now. God forbid LVE gets hurt, or Anthony Barr gets hurt, or Jabril Cox gets hurt. You now have depth. You are not in nearly as dire of a position if you hadn't signed Anthony Barr. Unquestionably, this is a good signing by the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I want to see the money before I call it a great signing, but I doubt they're going to break the bank all that much. But you didn't have much at linebacker. You were thin. And this is a logical player. He fills a need. He'll be a good scheme fit as far as I'm concerned. Good veteran presence. The Cowboys have done some good work around this time of the year, signing veteran free agents. I don't think he broke the bank with the contracts. Don't have the details at this point. But it's a good move by Dallas. I still want a receiver. Don't get me wrong on that front. I would love to add one to this Cowboys organization. But you can still do that. Signing Barr does not preclude you from adding receiver help. So with that in mind, who do you want to go sign next? Drop a name or names if you want to be the antithesis of Catboy. Name a player who you want to sign next for the Cowboys in NFL free agency. Go do it right now.